What's up? What's going on? What's good? Boxing Source here, and I wanted to talk about Dillian, the body snatcher Whyte. He had an interview earlier today on a podcast with Ak Barak, and there were multiple things that he was talking about in that show, but I wanted to focus on one thing when he talked about a certain fighter in the heavyweight division, in that this particular fighter didn't necessarily accept an offer to fight him sometime last year. So I'm going to go into this clip here, and then we're going to get into it here a little bit. So here we go.
So if you don't get, you don't get that championship fight, you still got to make money. I know you're making good money now. Is there ever a chance if you fight Ruiz? I know you guys went back and forth on social media a lot.
Ruiz is crazy. We offered him, I think, $7 or $8 million.
Wow.
That's what he got. He got less than that to fight Joshua the first time, and he took it. Then he's getting more than that to fight Joshua after losing to Joshua, and then he just started stalking some stuff and saying some stuff. And I don't know what's wrong with these guys, man. I don't know. It's business. It's boxing. It's business. So what if you lose once or twice or whatever? Like, so what? Like, if you lose a couple of fights, it doesn't matter. As long as you compete with the best people, and you go in there and you fight, and you show people that you're going to fight, and you fight. You look at David Silva, the guy's had 12 losses or something, but he's still one of the fans' favorite. You know what I mean? It's like,
yes,
he's a warrior. You got to respect Big Boy, because he comes to put work in. You know what I'm saying? And people say, he's this, that, yeah, well, he put work in. So you got to respect these cats, man.
Now, that was him making a comment saying that Andy Ruiz was offered $7 to $8 million to fight Dillian Whyte after Andy Ruiz, the former unified heavyweight champion, lost to Anthony Joshua. That was at the end of 2019. Of course, you had the thing June 1st, 2019, Madison Square Garden. Andy Ruiz Jr. Defeats Anthony Joshua to get those unified titles. And then in the rematch over in Saudi Arabia, you had Anthony Joshua with a clear decision win to win those titles back. Dillian Whyte was part of that card. I think it was against Marius Wach. And we know that, last year, Dillian Whyte ended up having to fight against Alexander Povetkin and being knocked out in the 5th round there. But he's, working on seeing if he could get in on that rematch scheduled for March 6th against Alexander Povetkin for that interim WBC heavyweight title. But like we were saying, he was, looking to fight Andy Ruiz Jr. for that interim WBC title. And it was an offer that was sent out to Andy Ruiz. He said $7 to $8 million. I think Andy Ruiz got around $7 million or so for the first fight against Anthony Joshua, so he would have still been getting that same amount of money. But Ruiz ended up passing on that, and Dillian Whyte just couldn't understand it. As far as like right now with Andy Ruiz Jr., like from last year, like he was slated to face Chris Arreola, but as of right now, I know that he's, over there with the Canelo team and trainer Eddie Reynoso. You've had stories about him trimming down in weight and things like that, but nothing as far as like a fight being made for Andy Ruiz Jr. as of yet. So we got to see what's up with that with Andy Ruiz Jr. But Dillian Whyte kind of like went in a little bit more detail as far as like why the fight between him and Andy Ruiz Jr. didn't materialize last year. There's more on it in reference to him talking about the WBC situation, the rematch with Alexander Povetkin and all that stuff through that podcast with Ak Barak. But for more news and notes, you could subscribe to this particular channel here and catch the Boxing Source radio show live Sunday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Blog Talk Radio. But we also have the podcast available on iTunes, so you should be able to catch that on iTunes. On that note, folks, I'm out. Peace.